Welcome, everyone, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening. This is Off the Cuff. Unfortunately, my co-host Nellie could not be here with us tonight. She is in Louisville, out advertising for the show, which she should be. No, I'm kidding. Nellie is with her friends, celebrating her birthday. I feel like Nellie celebrates her birthday like every weekend since she's had it, but she's out doing that. But thank you guys for listening. I'm kind of doing the show solo, and we have a big show here for you tonight. So good job on tuning in because it's going to be interesting. But before we get started, I told you guys on the last episode that I was going to tell you about the craziest dream that I ever had. So basically the dream was I was running from somebody who was trying to kill me. And this person was chasing after me, and this, when you're in a dream, you're running really, really slow. So I'm running from this person, they're trying to kill me, and I'm running as fast as I can, and I see at the top of a hill, there's a Coca-Cola machine. So I run to the top of the hill, and I see that the Coca-Cola machine's door to the machine is opened. It's cracked a little bit. So I get into the Coke machine, and I close the door in this Coke machine, and the killer comes up to the Coke machine, and he puts in a quarter, and I roll out the bottom. So then I woke up. So it was the craziest thing ever. But that was my dream. I woke up in a cold sweat, and I was like, man, Adam, you really need to lay off some of the things that you do. But ladies and gentlemen, I have a special guest on the show tonight. He goes by the name of Kevin Jamal Woods. You guys might know him from the hit movie back in 1994. He played Stymie in the Little Rascals. Yes, and yeah. So let me tell you something about this kid. When I looked for him, I found him on Twitter, reached out to him. He said he was going to do the show, and he agrees to do it. And I have him on the telephone. He's living in Dallas, Texas. So let's go ahead and bring him on the show. Kevin, man, what's up? Thank you for being here, buddy.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me. I'm actually pretty flattered that someone actually reached out to me to be on something on the air. It's been like a decade or so since I've been on the air with anything. So this is great. Thank you.
Hey, man, not a problem, man. It's crazy. When I posted on Facebook that I was going to have you on the show, so many people started commenting questions that they wanted me to ask you. So I'm going to get to some of the fan questions a little bit later, but okay. I just want to ask you just some questions while I have you here. So just tell me this, Kevin. How did you get started, or what made you want to get started in the acting industry?
Well, actually, I actually started off being like a model, for like the Sears and J.C. catalogs and stuff like that. I did like print ads.
Really?
And but I didn't like have a desire to get into it. I was actually at the store with my mother one day, and I was like, I couldn't have been like 2 years old. And this lady came up to me and was asking, a whole bunch of questions. And I was really eloquent for a 2-year-old. So she told my mom that I had a lot of chutzpah and gave her, like, the phone number to an agency. And I went and interviewed with the agency, and they signed me, and that's how I did the print ads. And from the print ads, I got, like, a few commercials because they put me out on auditions for those things. And then from the commercials, I got my first audition for a movie, which was A Perfect World with Kevin Costner and Clint Eastwood, and that was like the year before I did the Little Rascals. And then after that movie, I auditioned again and got Little Rascals. I auditioned again. It took like 4 or 5 different auditions, but I got it. So.
Oh man, that's awesome. And people that are, especially our age, you're 28 years old, I'm 27. We grew up in the 90s, and for me, there's still.
Before phones and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, the 90s was like the best time for movies, and it's just fitting that the Little Rascals come out in 1994. As a child actor and the success of the movie The Little Rascals, were you being treated any differently, like when you went to school after doing a big movie like that?
Yes and no, because before I went to do the movie, all of my friends knew that I was in that kind of industry because I had done that other movie. But afterwards, yeah, I found people that I knew later that didn't know me, that found out that I was in the movie.
Right.
I mean, they would try to be all buddy-buddy. But even now, like, I won't introduce myself as being the kid from Little Rascals. I never lead with that. I want people to enjoy me for being me first, get to know the real Kevin, and then they'll usually find out because they say I look familiar. And I mean, I look the exact same. I haven't changed really at all. I'm still short, and my lips are still big, and my eyes are still huge.
No, that's not surprising at all that people that you would have no problem finding friends, because even if you was never on the Little Rascals, because just the short time that I've gotten to know you, just over the last couple of days, texting you and just talking with you on the phone, you're one funny guy, man. So you have a bright future ahead of you. You really do.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's no problem at all, man. So the people from the cast of Little Rascals, do you still keep in contact with any of the former castmates that you were in there with?
Kind of. Like, okay, so as you know, we did that 20-year reunion thing. That's like online at 22vision.com. You can see it. But we did that like last August, and that was the first time in like at least 15 years. Yeah, like 20 years. Not 20, but 10 years that I had seen a couple of the other cast members, like Spanky, the guy who played Spanky, Travis Tedford, and I. We used to be really cool, but that was back when I lived in California. And then when we both moved back to Texas, we moved to different parts of Texas, so we hadn't really seen each other since like 2000. So it was kind of cool to reconnect with everyone then. But now that we're back in, the real world, Twitter and Facebook is really how I've kept up with the rest of the cast members.
Yeah,
we're all kind of got our own lives now, so it's kind of difficult to reconnect. But I still follow everyone because they all seem to be doing interesting things.
Oh yeah, man. That's really cool. So like, other than when after the Little Rascals, you went on and you did some more big productions. Your last major production, it was called TheBrainiacs.com, and you played a character named Danny back in the year 2000. And I was watching it on YouTube, man, and it was hilarious. There was a scene where you and this other kid was trying to get into the door, and you were like trying to break into this door with this spike. I don't know, you were like twirling it around, and then the front door was open the whole time, and you're just like, oh, okay, well.
Oh, yeah, that was when I was trying to be like Batman and use like a fake grappling hook that we made.
Yeah.
Out of like a destroyed umbrella. That was fun. That whole movie was fun. I mean, it didn't take very long to shoot. Like, Little Rascals took like 3 months, like 3 or 4 months to shoot. But this movie took like all of a month for the whole thing. It was great, though. I had a really good time. There was like a food fight scene in there, and I'd never been in a food fight before. And we got to like throw mashed potatoes and corn that was mixed up together. It was gross, but it was fun. Like, I had an enjoyable time making Brainiacs.
Nice. Is it really? Is it hard remembering your lines? Do you have to? Like, I've never been in a movie, so I'm kind of just curious about the process. Do you have to learn all of your lines before you actually start filming, or is there enough breaks to where you can go read your lines and then you go out and you shoot them, or do you pretty much have to be prepared for the entire movie when you start shooting the movie?
Well, the good thing about like movies as opposed to like theater, like in like a play, you have to know like your whole lines from start to finish because you're going to do the whole production at one time.
Right.
Whereas like with a movie, you can kind of zhuzh your way through it because they tell you what you're going to shoot the night before,
right,
or the day before rather. They give you like what they call sides, which is just basically pieces of the script that you're going to have to know for the next day or whatever scene they're going to shoot. So I used to just memorize my lines the night before I would go shoot whatever it was for the next day. And then the next day would come and boom, I already know what I need to say, go out there and shoot it, and they wouldn't have to worry about me. Usually, I would know everyone else's lines too, because that's just how the way that me and my mom used to rehearse them at home. Like, she would say someone else's lines, and then I would do my own. And so whenever I would go out to do a scene, I would know someone else's line, and when they would mess up, I'd be like, no, your line is this. And I say this. But it's a lot easier to be in a movie if you can memorize lines. Because they basically tell you what you need to know. It's kind of like cramming for a test.
Right. Yes, I know all about that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You
So
learn everything you need to know the night before, and then you go do it, and then you can forget it because we're not going to go back and shoot it again.
dude, I definitely am the king of cram. That's for sure. So, like, if you see like any of your TV shows, or if you see any of your movies on TV, and you're just scrolling through the TV, do you stop and you watch them, or do you just like, oh, I've seen this a billion times, I don't feel like watching it anymore?
To be honest, I don't ever when Little Rascals comes on television, I'm never in a place to actually watch it. Like, I get a whole bunch of text messages or a whole bunch of, like, Facebook hits saying, your movie was on or your movie is on. And I'm like, oh, really? Because I didn't see it. Like, I never happen to come across it. Probably because I'm not, like, big like Brad Pitt. I'm sure he gets sick of seeing himself all the time.
Right.
But I don't. Because it's like, Little Rascals is, like, the only movie that ever comes on television that I can see. Like, I've never seen a rerun of Blossom that I was on. It's always been like from the earlier seasons, but I was on the last season of Blossom, so I've never seen a rerun that I've been on. But
wait.
I think I would sit and watch it.
Were you for real on Blossom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
I played.
You did not play Frank. You did not play Frank. Please tell me that was not you. No, I did not even know that.
Oh, you know the character?
Yes, dude. Like, my thing is this. Like, Blossom. Like, first of all, screw the Big Bang Theory. Amy Farrah Fowler. She's Blossom. Like, when I see that show, I'm like, that's Blossom. Like, that's not Amy Farrah Fowler. Like, and I guess we're '90s kids, so we know that. What was her name? Mia.
Mayim Bialik.
Yes, dude. She was she was definitely like. She had '90s written all over her, man. Like, what was it like working with her?
And the jeans and stuff. I loved her. She's always been really smart though. And so when I saw that she was on Big Bang Theory playing a neurosurgeon, I was like, oh, so she's playing herself? Because she's an actual neurosurgeon. Like, I think she went to UCLA for like neurology or something, and she was brilliant back then. But she's cool, and I enjoyed working with Jenna Benoy, the one who played Six.
Yeah.
She was really cool. And all of the Lawrence brothers were cool. Like dude. Joey and the other two.
So, do you...
I can't remember the other name.
If you had to pick between movies and TV, what would you prefer doing?
Okay, if I had to pick between movies and TV, I guess I would pick TV because it's steady work. If you're getting the ratings. Movies are cool, but once the production's over, and then you have to go find more work. TV, if it's a good show, it'll last forever, which means the checks keep coming in. Hello, and that's what I like. Yeah, I think I would pick TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you get put in syndication, like Friends, for instance, or The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Please tell me you watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Exactly. Of course. I watch them both.
Right, okay. So, those shows are on all the time. So, they're getting checks. Every time that show is being put on TV, like, they're getting a check in the mail. That's awesome. So, what have you been up to since doing your movies? What are some things that you do to make your living, or what are some of the things you do in your spare time, like as hobbies?
Oh, okay. These are like 4 questions in one. So when I stopped acting in like 2001-ish, I decided to go to high school and be a regular kid, which was a mistake. I should have just kept acting. But I went to high school, and I graduated, and from there, while I was in high school, I was in the marching band, and I learned how to play the tuba. So I got a academic scholarship, actually, to go to college. So I went to school at Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida, where I also had a band scholarship to play tuba. So I was in the marching band for like 4 years there, and I majored in mass communications as well, with a focus in broadcast journalism. I interned at a Fox affiliate here in Dallas.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of death I had to see. I think I went out on like 6 different interviews. Well, not interviews, like locations that were because of somebody dying. And I was like, well, good Lord, this is what I have to look forward to in the news. then I don't know if I want to be a reporter. So when I got back to school and finished my last year, like I quite didn't know what I wanted to do after I finished, which probably should have gone to grad school, but I was sick of school, so I didn't go. I just came back home, and I moved to Atlanta just because I had a wanderlust, and I hated it there, and it wasn't like I wanted it to be because I didn't get a job at CNN. So I moved back home to Texas, and now I work for a media market research firm, which is world-renowned. I work for Nielsen, the people that do all of the ratings for all of the TV shows and radio stations and stuff.
Yes.
And I talk on the phone all day, so I kind of hate it.
Can you slide in a good word for off the cuff? Can you be like, hey, check this out?
Oh, well, no. Actually, no, I can't. But I mean, the job is in my field, so I'm going to stick with it. But I don't know if I really like it because I really hate talking on the phone to people that I don't know. Not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that I have to like solicit to. Like I don't like really doing that. Like I feel like I'm invading their home and their time and space, even though I'm getting paid for it. So I'll do it anyway. But for hobby, I play a lot of PlayStation. Destiny is my game right now. Shooting up a bunch of aliens and taking names. And let me see, what else do I do? And I also like make music for fun. Because I've been playing piano since I was 4.
Oh, so. Cool, man. I play the piano as well. I play a little Evanescence. I can play that song, My Immortal. I can play Coldplay. I can play a few Coldplay songs. And I can play Mary Had a Little Lamb. But that's as far as I can get with it. But, I'm still learning, man. That's awesome. And I also see that you are a big YouTube guy. You post YouTube videos. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yes, okay. I consistently forget about the real K Woods on YouTube because it's rather new. It's a new fledgling that I'm creating. But I'm just making obscure videos of different things that have happened. Like I have a video of this one day when I tried to go vote and couldn't because, well, watch it and you'll see. And then the State Fair of Texas happened. And I made a video about that because the State Fair is awesome, and a lot of the rest of America doesn't know about the State Fair of Texas, and they never will unless someone tells them. So you have to go watch the video because it's really cool. It's funny. But I'm trying to make a bunch of different videos of things that just happened, kind of like a diary. Not necessarily like everybody else that makes like posts about things that are actually happening. These events don't necessarily have to be current. They just have to be current to me. So I'm going to try and post a little bit more, but as of late, I've been kind of slacking. Just because, the end of the year is hard. You gotta, spend money.
It is. It is, because we have Christmas, and then your birthday is January the 9th, so you have the birthday right after Christmas, just like I do. My birthday's the 20th. So since your birthday is right after Christmas, I have to ask you, because I did a whole episode on birthdays. Did you... ever on Christmas, did you ever get doubled up on gifts where your family this is your birthday and your Christmas gift because, your birthday and you always felt like a little gypped? I don't know if it was just me, but did you ever feel that way?
Yes, actually. It's not necessarily like that. It used to be like you need to choose which one you want to get gifts for.
Yes.
When I was younger, because the gifts were cheap, I just want action figures and things. It wasn't that much a problem because I could get half of things on Christmas and half of things on my birthday. But then when I started getting older and asking for games that cost over $100 and nice clothes, they were like, okay, well you need to figure out which one you want this for. Do you want it for Christmas or your birthday? And most of the time I would choose Christmas because it was sooner.
Right.
But there were a couple of times where I was like, no, I want it for my birthday. I want a whole bunch of stuff on my birthday, and you can just give me clothes on Christmas. That's cool. I don't really need much else. Yeah. No. But I kind of hated it because sometimes my family would give me, not my immediate family, but my extended family, they would be like, oh, yeah, also happy birthday because your birthday is coming up, so that gift is for both.
Yes, I hated that. I hated, man. That was one of my biggest pet peeves. But you said you wanted action figures. For me, it was a board game. Like if you could get me like Clue or Monopoly or the Game of Life or Trouble or something like that, that made me happy. Like as a kid.
Interesting. I used to have all of those board games, but not because I wanted them. It's just because somebody gave them to me. Like, and I'd be like, oh, okay, great. That board game. All right, let's play it.
Oh, I was a huge board games person, man. I was huge at it. But I posted some comments on Facebook for people to ask, for fans out there to ask questions, and a few of your fans have sent in some questions for me to ask you. So some of these are very silly, some of them are very random. So I'm just going to pick a few, and you answer them at your best ability, whatever you want to answer.
Okay, that's so weird. You said fans.
Yeah, you have fans, man. Don't be so modest. Okay, question number 1. This comes from a girl named Kelly here in Kentucky. She asks,
Hey, Kelly.
yes, Kelly asks, are you a night owl or are you a morning person?
Oh, God, I hate the sunlight. I am a night owl. Like, I come alive after 6 p.m. And I'll probably be up tonight until like 4 because that's generally how late I'm up. And if I go to bed early, I feel weird, like I'm missing something, even though from between 10:30 and 3 in the morning, I'm doing nothing but watching TV, perhaps playing video games. Either way, I prefer to just be up at night. I really wish I could have like a night job so that way I could just be up like on the radio being like a DJ or something, talking to all the people out there in Radio Land about whatever nonsense happens at night.
Oh.
But no, I hate the morning. If I have to get up like anytime before 10 o'clock, I'm upset and angry and grumbling.
Heather from Louisville asks, what side of the bed do you sleep on?
Oh, well, Heather, I have a twin bed that I sleep on, so I sleep on all sides of the bed. I don't really have like a specific side.
Man, what are you doing? Let me ask you, what are you doing with a twin bed? Like, I hate those things. Like, I had a twin bed all throughout college. I had a twin bed like the first couple years after college. But you know, as soon as I could buy me at least a full size bed, I got like, how do you stand sleeping on a twin bed, Kevin? How do you do that?
Well, it's not anything that I chose per se. I moved back home with my parents, and the only room that we have available is my old bedroom from my childhood.
Yeah.
And my bunk bed from when I was like 6 to age 17 is the bed that I'm sleeping on. So, I mean, I hated it for like 6 months, but now I'm used to it because, I mean, nobody else sleeps in the bed with me, so I'm cool. I don't take up much space.
I see what you're saying, man. So, who is your celebrity crush?
Oh.
That comes from Jay. He wanted to know that from Lexington. So Jay wants to know who your celebrity crush is.
Jay from Lexington. I don't have a celebrity crush, and I mean, if I did, I wouldn't tell anybody because it's a crush.
Right, man. And you know, you could be walking on the red carpet one day after your new movie comes out, and they're going to come up to you and be like, Kevin, I heard you on Adam Banks' Off the Cuff, man. No, that would be the most.
Right, exactly. And then I might get railroaded by whomever they're with, thinking that I'm trying to push up on them, and I'm not. I mean, you know, I just like the way that they look on TV. But no, I don't really have a celebrity crush, mostly because I'm a practical person. I know that I'm not ever going to be able to meet these people. And if I do, we're not going to get together.
You never know, man. I've seen some crazy things, especially happen in Hollywood. I mean, anything can happen out there. So, another question.
Sure.
Are you... Actually, no, I'm not going to ask that.
Okay.
Not going to ask that. Some of these are just so silly. But let's see. What is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, okay. My favorite childhood memory is something that nobody would probably ever think. But when me and my little sister, my dad, my mom, we went to the Bahamas on the Disney cruise ship. Ooh.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. I had a really good time. It was like we were only gone for like 4 days on the water, but they had like this little teen area where you could go and be without your parents. and all of us teenagers were in there playing like board games and like things like Jenga and stuff. And they had like video games, back when the Sega Dreamcast was still a thing.
Yeah.
And, it was they had like old PlayStations and Dreamcasts and stuff where you could play video games and things. And then they had like different things for us to do each night, like where it was almost like we were in a club, quote unquote.
Right.
But that was my favorite childhood thing. When I went on vacation to the Bahamas with my family on the Disney cruise ship of all things.
Hey, man, this sounds like you're a family-oriented person, though. It really does.
Oh, well, thank you. Actually, I mean, it's not because I really want to be. It's just that we have a small family, so we kind of have no choice but to be around each other.
Yeah. So you're living in Dallas, Texas, man. Are you? I know Texas is a state that has a lot of sports teams. Man, they have. Especially being from Dallas.
America's team,
yes.
The Dallas Cowboys. Go on ahead and say it.
Yes, the Dallas Cowboys. Are you a Cowboys fan?
I actually don't really even watch football, but I am a Cowboys fan. If by fan you mean that I like to just sit and trash talk about everybody else's team except for the Cowboys. So I'm a Cowboys fan because I live here, and I like the Mavericks because they never seem to win anything, and I'm always a fan of the underdog. But no, I don't really even watch sports. The only sport that I actually really get into is track and field.
Gotcha. So you're a runner.
Yeah, I used to run in high school. I ran the hurdle, but I wasn't really fast. I was medium fast, so I would come in a cool 5th or 4th place. Which is why I quit. But I like watching it because it's exciting.
Dude, you're hilarious. But that's pretty much the fan questions that we have for you. And
okay.
I want to remind everybody to, if you want to keep in touch with what Kevin is doing, you can follow him on Twitter at The Real K Woods. That's THA, not THE, THA. Real K Woods, that's Twitter, and you can also go to his SoundCloud and listen to some of his beats. And this.
Oh yes, my SoundCloud. You'll have to search for the Brass Crew. That's THABRAZZKRU. Man, I am just really bad at spelling apparently. But yeah, that's how you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, and
no, it's THE Brass Crew. The regular Brass with 2 Z's, Crew with a K and an R and a U.
Okay,
there you go.
The regular folks. The regular for the SoundCloud, and then for Twitter it's THA. But pretty much if you follow him on Twitter, you're going to be able to keep in touch with a lot of things what Kevin does because he has everything posted to his Twitter. That's how I reached out to him. So
indeed,
yes,
I'm on Facebook, but I'm not. So don't try to get me there because you'll never hear from me.
You'll never. I hope nobody ever tries to book you, man, in a movie through Facebook. That would be terrible because we would miss out on.
Well, that's kind of how I ended up being on that 20-year reunion thing, was through Facebook. But somebody had to contact my cousin to contact me and tell me to go on Facebook because I was never on there. He tried to contact me for like 3 or 4 months before I actually logged on. So don't look for me on Facebook. Look for me on Twitter at The Real K Woods. That's where I live. So
basically, I would have a better shot of getting in touch with you than executives in Hollywood because I actually have your phone number now. Be like, yeah, I'm his agent. If you want to talk to Kevin, you got to call me, and we'll work something out. But all right, Kevin, man, I want to thank you for coming on the show and speaking with me a little bit. It won't be too long before you have your own podcast because I know that's in the works and you're going to be doing your podcast pretty soon. And when you do your podcast, man, I would love for you to come back on the show, sit with us again, and hopefully my co-host will be here. And because you're always welcome back with me on Off the Cuff.
Oh, well, thanks. Hey, next time you have like an interesting topic that you want to talk about, you can call me because I don't talk about too much of anything, but I always have 2 cents to put in. So, yeah.
Dude, we will start collaborating together, man. And if you're ever in Kentucky, we'll even do a YouTube video together.
Oh, totally awesome. Yeah. I do need to come to Kentucky though because y'all have like barbecue that I haven't tasted.
You do.
I like barbecue.
You do, man. You should come to Kentucky around March because our basketball team, we're crazy about basketball in this state. And we celebrate like the whole month because we're so daggone good in basketball. So we're going to win the national championship this year. So if you're going to visit Kentucky, March would be the exciting time to do it.
Okay. Wait, like for March Madness?
Yeah, man. March Madness, like about the middle of March all the way to like the 1st of April. Any time between that time period, if you could come in then, dude, I promise you, you would get a really good Kentucky experience.
Okay. I'm going to have to look for that. Okay, thank you.
Look for that, man. All right. Well, Kevin, man, I want to thank you for being on the show. And like I said, you're welcome back anytime, man. Thanks for doing it.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Kevin Woods, Kevin J. Woods from the Little Rascals. How about that guy, ladies and gentlemen? He's one of my favorite childhood movies of all time, The Little Rascals. Kevin Woods, he played Stymie, and that show is awesome. I'd like to get some more Little Rascals here on the show just to talk to them, see what they're doing. But other than that, this has been the show. This has been today's episode. I think this is episode number 44. So we're slowly getting up there to episode 50. Add me on Twitter, Adam__Banks. That's 2 underscores. Adam__Banks. Listen to the podcast at www.podcastgarden.com/offthecuff. Or you can check us out on Facebook. Go to Off the Cuff, or you can add me on Facebook by typing Adam Neal Banks in your search bar. But ladies and gentlemen, really want to thank you for listening. This has been such an exciting time, and I'm really excited with the way the show has been picking up with the special guests that we've been having on. It's been great. But ladies and gentlemen, January 26th, 2015, I'm Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to Off the Cuff.